we were talking about wealth taxes here as well, on top of any corporate taxes. How do you think the investor class is likely to take in some of those taxes, especially on the state and local level, when we're seeing so many investors just move with their feet and move to Florida, for example?
Yeah, I look at wealth tax. I don't think a wealth tax is going to happen in the United States, at least at the federal level. And I don't think any states will put in wealth taxes either. I do think the question will be what happens to the state and local tax deduction. And with a Democratic group in charge, it's possible that some, maybe all, of that state tax deduction will be reinstated with a higher tax rate. Now, Biden's plan does not assume that. But on the other hand, you can't just bleed the cities of the country from their revenue source. And you have some large cities in the country that have high tax rates because they have a lot of social services and they have a lot of people, and over the years have provided for those people. And you just can't assume that those cities are going to fall apart from a revenue point of view. And it may actually be cheaper for the government and the country to actually have to reinstate those state and local deductions and to keep some of the revenue in the cities. That's a debate that's going to happen. I don't think any of us knows what the answer is going to be, but I would expect to hear that debate.
Well, speaking of the cities and the trouble they're facing right now, I mean, you're seeing so many of your peers just move jobs outside of these cities. Are you worried about the future of the workforce, especially the big Wall Street workforces in London and New York?
Well, I think London and New York are slightly different. London has a Brexit question. New York, I think, is probably just dealing with how do they locate jobs in the least expensive space that still can attract high quality and top talent. I think New York, I've lived in New York for a long time. Many other people have as well. New York is a very unusual city in that it is capable of evolving and changing. And this change may be a change in which the financial industry is not the leading revenue producer for the city in the future. It may be the tech industry. It may be the Googles and Amazons of the world. Amazon obviously didn't move to New York, but it's not done growing and changing. And so I think New York is going to change its character, but it's impossible for me to conceive that New York is going to decline from here. New York still is a growing metropolis in terms of population, and I think that's going to be true for the large cities in the country. There still is an attractiveness to being in a city. People want to be together. At the end of the day, there's excitement and economic growth out of that, and we will solve the coronavirus, and we will have a vaccine, and we will return to some degree of normality.